Hi guys, Ashley here, also known as the Age Lead Fan. I'm back today with a brand new video, and I'll let you guys know that tomorrow I will be talking about the reasons why Age Lead is better than Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Paige. I will be talking about it. I just got home from work, and I figured since I can't write when I come home straight from work, I was gonna just try to do some topic videos. That way I could try to get some done after work, and then try to get some done too on the weekend. But before I do the Age Lead thing, I always wanted to analyze some of my favorite scenes from TV shows and just give you my perspective, my opinion, and kind of pretty much analyze the scene of giving you my opinion. And the show that I want to analyze is my favorite show of all time, the best teen drama show of all time, One Tree Hill. And one of the scenes to me that stick out that I just feel like really needs a analyzation is the Brooke and Lucas wedding fight scene. I feel like there's a lot in this scene that should be discussed, and I feel like people, if you were younger and you agreed with Brooke or whoever side you were on, that's completely understandable. You were young, you were 16, but I am 20 years old now, and I can tell you that now that my perspective about this scene has changed very much because I'm always rewatching One Tree Hill drastically. So I just want to talk to you guys about my opinions on this scene. So the scene opens up with them dancing at the reception, and then Lucas tells Brooke that him and Peyton kissed, and she flips out, and they end up going into this back room where she's looking for her car keys, and they pretty much have a really deep, heated, emotional discussion. And I'm just going to give you my perspective on each person and what they're saying, and just let you guys know. So I'm doing it off my laptop, and I'm going to hope you guys can really hear it, so let's do this. I'm going to pause every time I feel like I need to analyze something. If I feel like there's no need to analyze, I just might have it play. But let's do this. Okay.
Brooke, I need you to listen to me. Okay? I understand that you didn't know about the kids, and I'm sorry for springing on you, but I meant what I said. It didn't mean anything.
Okay, the first I'm going to analyze. Lucas is telling Brooke that the kiss with Peyton didn't mean anything. I think anyone who's watched this show and you don't have on rose-tinted glasses knows that Lucas and Peyton were it from the very beginning. I don't care what anyone says. I am a die-hard Lathan shipper. I've always have been, and I always will be. And I think that this Lucas saying this is just him denying again to his heart, because he thinks that him and Brooke should be together, but they don't belong together. He's determined to make this work with Brooke because it never worked with him and Peyton. So he's trying to hang on to a relationship that's been hanging by a thread anyway. So I think him saying the kids didn't mean anything is a lie, because I don't think, and I might get dragged for this because there's like so many Brooke fans. I love Brooke, don't get me wrong, I love her, but I have realized since I've gotten older that she just has some traits that I just don't really like about her that much. Like, she plays victim a lot, and another thing I realized with her is that she uses, like, not all the time, but sometimes she uses like emotional, like crying, to try to cover up her wrong behavior, to make it look like the other person is in the wrong. And it's like she'll start crying and like trying to play victim, make the other person like the villain, and I personally just don't really appreciate that from her. I think it's kind of like her trying to like run from her behavior or confess her behavior. So there's just some things about Brooke that I just feel like I just don't really like about her that much. But I love Brooke as a character, and I really love Sophie too for playing Brooke. She gave this character her all, really dedicated to it, really loyal to her character. I love Brooke. There's just things about her that I just don't like. So yeah, but I think Lucas saying that to her is a complete lie.
A kiss always means something.
Exactly. And Brooke is completely right about this, especially when you have kissed the same girl twice that you have a past history with. And I think that this is Brooke finally just opened up her eyes and realizing that her and Lucas just don't make sense together. Like they're both hanging on to a relationship that just doesn't make any sense. Like it's already been hanging by a thread. I think this was the final straw that they both really needed. I think Lucas really needs to understand that no matter how many times him and Brooke try, it's never gonna work. And I think this is Brooke realizing that no matter how many times they try, she's not paying. She's not the love of his life, and he needs to be with the love of his life. The love of his life is truly Peyton.
Okay, maybe you're right, but it wasn't a romantic moment, and you would know that.
If what? I was there?
That's also a lie. Lucas is saying that it wasn't a romantic moment. That's a lie. If you go back to the school shooting episode, season 3, episode 16, that entire scene with him and Hillary, him and Peyton, was probably one of the most gravitational, magnetic scenes ever. It was the most. It had so much chemistry in the room, and you cannot tell me that scene was not a romantic scene. Yes, she was shot, but there was just so much feelings there. Like her pretty much thinking like, if she's gonna die, I might as well go out confessing how I really feel. And she basically told Lucas that she loved him, and she meant it. She did love Lucas, and Lucas is always there for Peyton. He's always willing to help her out, be there for her, whether she don't ask, whether she does ask. And I feel like that was always more than just him seeing her as a friend. I think Lucas was always there because he was always in love with her. Like, of course, when you're a friend, you can be there for your friend. But I feel like Lucas was always there for her in situations where it was like, when people might have feel like, did he need to be there for her? And that's what I just feel like it was just always more than just friendship and platonic.
As you so sweetly pointed out at the party that I threw for you, I wasn't there, was I?
Is it impossible for you to forgive me? I forgave you
For what?
for sleeping with Chris Keller.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Brooke is trying to play victim right now. Trying to make Lucas look like the villain. And I really don't appreciate the show making Lucas look like the villain in every situation where both people might be wrong or the other person is just blaming him. I never understood that. And I feel like he's a character that everyone just loves to hate. But I absolutely love Lucas. Him and Peyton are my favorite shows. Lucas and Peyton are my favorite characters from this show. They are the most layered and the most complex characters from this show. And I don't understand why he's just such a character that's just people love to shit on. I think it's because of what he did to Brooke. I feel like outside of the shit he did to Brooke, no one really has a reason to really dislike him. But back to this, Lucas is right. He forgave Brooke when she slept with Chris Keller, when she knew how Lucas felt about her. He's confessed his feelings to her not once, not twice, more than 3 times than that, and she still stuck with him anyway. Don't give me that whole thing, she was drunk. She still did it. And now she's trying to flip the script by saying that he's wrong. You were wrong first by sleeping with Chris Keller, knowing how I felt about you. And I forgave you anyway. But you can't forgive me for kissing Peyton. And I just feel like that's just wrong. And I'm assuming her reason for not wanting to forgive him is because Brooke knew that it was more than just a kiss. But like, still, he didn't have to forgive you for sleeping with Chris Keller, knowing how you felt you were in love with him and he was in love with you, and you still did it. Like, that's low. Me personally, if anyone would have had ever done that, knowing how I confessed my love to you more than once, you're blocked. You're done. You're done with me. You don't put me on the spot and have me make a fool of myself just to do that with some random girl. Like, get the fuck out of here. I will never contact you. I will never see your face again. Don't show your face again. Like, Lucas did not have to forgive her, and he did. But she can't forgive him for this. Like, it's just very hypocritical.
And you know what, Lucas? I loved you for that. You had such grace in that moment that I fell in love with you all over again. I can't believe that you would use it now as a bargaining chip.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Like, she's really trying to play victim right now. Like, yeah, he did forgive you. He gave you a second chance to win him back, to show him why should he continue to pursuing you when you keep rejecting him? Like, why do I keep coming back to you if you just keep showing me that you are interested, but at the same time you playing games? I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. And she's talking about using it as a bargaining chip. How about the fact that, so you're trying to say that it's wrong for him to hang on to something that happened in the past, but yet you're still hanging on to the past. You can't let the past go. This is what I'm talking about. Her trying to like flip the script, play victim, and like not trying to hear her behavior, and just trying to make him feel like all of his behavior is wrong. This is what is just like really just pisses me off about her. Like, right now in this very scene, she's just trying to flip it all on him when like he's wrong. He's wrong for kissing Peyton and not telling you automatically. And you were wrong for sleeping with Chris Keller, knowing how he felt about you. But you're also wrong for telling him to not throw the past, to let the past be the past, but you won't let the past be the past. So I just think that's just, like I said, just very hypocritical for her to say.
Oh, I'm not. I need you to trust me and believe me when I tell you that my heart is with you. But a part of me feels like ever since we got back together, you've just been waiting to push me away.
This is so true. And wait, and when I click the next scene, I'm about to say something. This is so true. This is so true. This is so true what Lucas is saying. Brooke finds whatever excuse that it is, not even an excuse, she finds little problems in the relationship, and then she tries to push him away. You want him, but yet you're not giving him your all. That doesn't work in a relationship. You cannot tell someone that you're all in, but yet you're restraining back because you have your own issues. If you have issues that you need to deal with, don't lead anybody on. Period. Do not lean anybody on. I feel like Brooke kind of leaned Lucas on by claiming that she was over her insecurities and things that was holding her back for being more independent, more happy, more loving herself, and just trying to lean him on and make him the problem. But you're a problem too, because your insecurities are restraining you from being happy in a relationship. So you hang on to a little bit of stuff and try to push him away because you have a security blanket on. You're trying to protect yourself. And if you feel like you need to protect yourself, you shouldn't be with anybody. Because eventually you're going to have to let people in so they can understand you. People cannot understand you at arm's length. People can't be there for you at arm's length. Eventually you have to let people in. I'm not forcing you to, but eventually you have to. If you want people to be there for you, you need to give them something to be there for you. People won't be there for you if you're cold, if you're distant, if you're restraining, if you're refusing to let people be there, people won't be there. And I feel like this is just a lot what we see with Brooke. She wants people to be there, but when they are there for her, she keeps them at arm's length. She doesn't want no one to get into her heart. She don't want to be hurt. That's understandable. No one wants to get hurt. I understand that. Nobody thinks about getting hurt in a relationship. No one thinks about you putting your heart on the line and it completely breaks into a million pieces. I understand that, but if you're trying to convince yourself that you are ready for a relationship and you're not, How does that make any sense? What a break. So I feel like Lucas is right. Brooke just always kept him at arm's length and was just ready to push him away at any given moment. So I feel like she was just never in love with him, because how can you want to be with this guy? You want to be with this guy forever, but yet you keeping him at arm's length. And if you haven't gotten over the past, why date him? Why give him a second chance when you're not over the shit that he did before? It just don't make sense to me.
Oh, great. You kissed Peyton again, and I'm pushing you away.
Yes, you're right. He did kiss Peyton again, but that got nothing to do with. This is what I'm talking about. This is a classic case of trying to play victim right now. Lucas was not talking about. Did he say anything about Peyton is the reason why she's trying to push him away? No, he's saying ever since they got back together, she's been waiting to find any little thing and push him away. I think Lucas always known that Brooke kept him at arm's length, but he was so determined to make this relationship work that he was willing to stay in a relationship with her. So I feel like Brooke is just trying to play victim right now, because you know damn well this has always been an issue. Way before Peyton, you've always kept him at arm's length and everything. As soon as she gave him the letters, she wanted them back. Like, that just don't make sense to me. You wanted to be vulnerable with him, but yet you want the letters back. It just don't make sense. This is what he's talking about, keeping him at arm's length. She reveals the letters, and then she wants to keep him at arm's length by taking the letters back, because she didn't want him to read her vulnerability, which is just like, it's irritating. Like, it's really annoying. I just feel like if she wasn't ready to get back together with Lucas, then they should have just stayed broken up. So I could understand her saying that he kissed Peyton again, and it's like, I could understand that, because it's the same thing that's happening over again. It's like, why do you keep going back to the girl that you had a past with while you're with me? I understand where she's coming from, but what he said has got nothing to do with him kissing Peyton. This is a consistently thing that she always does, and I think that's what she's refusing to acknowledge.
God, why did I make everybody identical purses as wedding gifts?
I love you, Brooke. I don't know how else to say it.
I agree. I do think that Lucas and Peyton, I do think Lucas and Brooke loved each other. I just don't think they were in love with each other. I think they loved the moments that they had and the time that they spent with each other, but they were not in love. And I feel like Lucas did love Brooke, and I feel like he proved it to her time and time again that she can trust him, she can be vulnerable with him. And I understand that him kissing Peyton is going to keep her from being vulnerable with him. I understand that, but it's like kind of what he said about the whole Chris Keller thing. He was willing to give you a second chance and put all his trust in you, and you fucked up, but yet you can't do the same thing for him. It's just hypocritical. Like, because it's like, no matter how many times he shows it, how many times he proves it, how many times he gives her a romantic speech, you can say bullshit. You can say bullshit. But there's also moments too that Lucas has, not only has he said, but he has shown Brooke how many times he's loved her. And it's like, no matter what he does, it's never good enough. And I just feel like this was also a big problem. No matter what he did, it was never good enough for her. Never good enough for her. And you want to know why? Because of her insecurities. Of her insecurities, she was still stuck in the past, so she refused to see any good because she wasn't over the past. And this is why the relationship didn't work.
How about how you show it? I am not pushing you away.
This is a lie. She's telling him that she's not pushing him away. That's a lie. That she's holding on to him. That's a lie. I've already just explained like 10,000 times on why she's not hanging on to Lucas. She's keeping him at arm's length. You can't hold on to somebody if you're keeping them at arm's length. You can't say you want to be with this guy forever if you're scared to be vulnerable with him. How is that holding on to him? How is that fully trusting him? How is that loving him, Brooke? How is you keeping him at arm's length, giving him anything to keep being with you, to keep hanging on to you? I should ask. What Lucas should have been asking her is that you keep giving me little and I keep giving you a lot. So why am I the one who keep hanging on? If anything, Lucas should have been asking her that. Like, I don't like the fact that they just kept him quiet this whole scene and he couldn't defend himself. This is just, like I'm talking about, playing motherfucking victim. The fact that Lucas could not defend himself. Because me personally, if I was Lucas, I'd been like, but I keep giving you my all and you keep giving me little. You keep giving me little and yet you still want to make me seem like I'm the motherfucking bad guy. When you done just as worse shit as I have done. We both done shit. Ain't nobody in this whole thing between them. No one is a victim. They both have done things that are wrong. At least Lucas is going to admit it. Brooke has not been able to admit the fact that she was wrong in some capacity. This is what the problem is. She can't be hanging on to him and she's refusing to acknowledge anything that's keeping her from. She can't claim and say that she's holding on to him and she wants the relationship to work, but yet at the same time you're trying to do things to keep relationship from growing. That's what don't make sense to me.
Wait, Lucas, I am holding on for dear life, but I need you to need me back.
What is she talking about? When has Lucas ever showed her that he didn't want her or that he didn't need her? If Lucas didn't want Brooke, why would he precede her over Peyton? If Lucas didn't want Brooke, why was he so determined to make things work over and over and over again? If Lucas didn't want Brooke, why did he decide to go through the fantasy boy draft, the fling, all that ridiculous shit because she was afraid to open up her heart again? Why would anybody go through any of that when they feel like their time was being wasted? Why would someone put themselves through that? I know me personally, I wouldn't. I'm not about to have no fling with you because you're afraid to open up your heart. Listen, I'm not gonna play hot potato with you. You're not gonna pick me when you want me, and then you're not gonna have me when it's convenient for you. You either want me or you don't. There is no other way. If you gotta think twice about it, then don't be with me. And I think that's what this was. I think Brooke kind of had to always constantly rethink it. Like, she was just so indecisive. And I feel like if you have to constantly think about if you should be with this person, you shouldn't be with them. Period. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. When Lucas was with Brooke, he never once rethought about being with her. And that's the truth. Never. He never once said anything about when Rachel asked him he once had a thing for Peyton. What happened to that? He said that he forgot about that. And Brooke is the one. He was so determined to make things work with Brooke. Like, her saying this just doesn't make any sense. She is the one who doesn't want him. She's the one who proves time and time again that she doesn't need him. Lucas has proven time and time again that he does want her and that he does need her. He's the one who's always been fighting. Brooke has never fought for him. Never. If Lucas would have told her, hey, let's have a fling, I don't think she would have proceeded it and been consistent with it as much as Lucas was consistent with her. Period. Let's just say that. I don't think Brooke would have done that. I don't think she would have done it. Now, after the shit she went through with Felix in season 2 with having friends with benefits, I don't think she would have went through with that again on rather feeling nothing. I don't think Brooke would have put herself in a situation. So this is just Brooke never once fought for him, and it's the truth. Lucas always put his self in situations where he was the one sacrificing and fighting. Brooke has never done that, so she's the one who's never proved that she wanted him or need him. Period.
Okay, why wouldn't you tell me about the kiss? And why didn't you call?
I feel like her trying to make him seem selfish because him and Karen needed to go away and deal with the death of Keith privately is just her being very needy. Like, of course, yeah, when your significant other is going through something, you want them to come to you. But at the same time, people have shit going on in their own head. Lucas is still going through the emotions on trying to figure out what happened that day. And you're trying to make him look selfish because him and his mother needed a moment to go away and think about Keith for a minute, think about the happy moments. Someone that was in his life way before you came into his life. That's Brooke being selfish and her being extremely needy. So I think this is just wrong for her to say.
Me while you were away, and why won't you ever just let me all the way in?
This is so untrue. This is so untrue. How can she sit here and say Lucas has never let her in? He's put himself in situations where he has completely embarrassed himself to be with her, and she has rejected him. How is he refusing to let you all the way in when he has done things over and over and over again to prove to you that he can be the guy for you? How? You're the one who's refusing to let him all the way in. You're the one refusing to let him love you conditionally. You're the one refusing to let him be there for you in all capacity. You're the one, because you're still hanging on to the past and you're keeping him at arm's length. And this is what I just find like extremely funny, because I just feel like when I think about it now, those letters that she gave him was just all BS about being more vulnerable, being more trusting, trying to be like, I just feel like everything I'm hearing right now was just BS. And I'm not gonna take anything away from the moment with the letters. I thought it was a great moment, but hearing this wedding scene just made me feel like everything she felt in those letters was just not true. She missed him. Listen, this is what I'm gonna. I think this is what I'm gonna say. That I think Lucas. I think Brooke missed the way Lucas made her felt. I don't think she missed being with him. Complete difference. There's a difference between how someone makes you feel and how you feel about them. A complete difference. I think we've always seen how Lucas felt about Brooke and how Lucas always felt about Brooke. I don't think we ever really heard enough about how Lucas makes Brooke feel. I don't think we really heard enough about that. I don't think she was in love with him. Like I said, I don't think there was ever a moment where like she sat down with Haley and was like, or Peyton was like, oh my God, when I'm with Lucas, everything just makes sense. My heart cannot stop beating. I'm always constantly having butterflies. Like, I never once just ever hear her say those type of things. But when we're with Lucas, whether it's Brooke, sorry I'm botching a lot, I just have so much to say. Whether it's Nathan, Haley, Peyton, hell, even Rachel, he never misses the opportunity to tell everybody how he feels about her. And I think that was just a little bit weird, how we never once heard about how Lucas made her feel. And I think the reason because of that was because everything she would have said would have just came out untrue. So, yeah, like I said, there's a difference between how you feel about someone and how someone makes you feel. I think Brooke didn't know how she felt about Lucas. That's how I feel. That's why I think she never said anything like that, because I don't think she even knew how Lucas made her felt. I think she missed the moments with Lucas, but I don't think she missed being with him.
about love.
And this is in closing. This is funny that she said that because in the wedding toast scene, you guys want to talk about, they both gave speeches about unconditional love and how love will never alter, it will never change, no matter the obstacles, the ups and downs, the darkness, whatever it is you go with to someone. Those things in a relationship make you stronger. Not toxic in a toxic way, but in a relationship, in real life relationships, whether you go through an up and down, whether it's like, oh my God, our house is on fire, we have nowhere to live, how are we going to pay for this? In a relationship, you try to figure it out. And Lucas mentioned that in his wedding toast, that it's not a love story where no one receives any pain. It's two souls coming together and diminishing it with all costs. I think that is extremely interesting. Lucas does not feel that way about Brooke. And you know what? I'm going to give Mark Shohan some prep here, even though he's completely ruined his reputation. I really love the idea that he chose two people who weren't in love to give wedding toasts. And I think Lucas' wedding speech was absolutely beautiful. Of course, the great Lucas Scott. I think it's just funny. I think that wedding speech definitely represents everything with him and Brooke's relationship. Is that whenever him and Brooke go through a problem, Brooke refuses to run instead of dealing with it. She always refuses to run instead of dealing with it. And Lucas has always tried to make it work together. So that has been my analyzation on this wedding fight scene. Please let me know what you feel. I personally feel like they were both in the wrong I thought they were both in the wrong. I feel like Lucas was wrong for kissing Peyton and not telling Brooke, and I think Brooke was in the wrong for trying to make Lucas like the villain and not take any accountability for her actions on a relationship that doesn't work. I think it's just both parties just not good for each other. Like, they just don't make no sense together. I do think Chad and Sophie had amazing chemistry, but it wasn't Hillary and Chad's chemistry, but they just don't make sense together. I think no one was right when it came to this fight, but I could understand both sides. But I think they were kind of both wrong, and I don't like the fact that writers just had Lucas stand there and not defend himself even more, when I feel like there was a lot more to say. Anyway, that's my analyzation. Look out for more coming soon, but tomorrow expect the HLE video.